What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. And man, oh man, it's mighty quiet out there. It's mighty quiet. All the Caitlin Clark fans are quiet as a mouse pissing on cotton right now. What's going on? What's holding your tongues right now? Maybe Diana Taurasi was correct in that the WNBA would expose her as being overrated. In her debut, she logged 10 turnovers and only shot 5 for 15 for the Indiana Fever as they lost 92-71 to I think it was the Connecticut Sun. And in her second game, she scored just 9 points on 2 of 8 shooting, including just 1 of 7 from three-point range. Where's all these tremendous games, It's funny. Christian Laettner is one of the greatest collegiate players of all time, but in the pros, he was solid, but not spectacular. Oh, by the way, they lost 102-66 to New York Liberty, the Indiana Fever. And they own the WNBA, worst ever point differential through the season's first 2 games. This Fever team was supposed to be improved by the number 1 overall pick. They have the worst ever point differential through first 2 games at negative 57. Now, she might still turn it around, obviously. And you got to admit it's growing pains. But usually, a first overall pick, the real ones, will still show you glimpses of the greatness that caused them to be so highly touted in the first place. Caitlin Clark, by the way, through the first 2 games, is averaging 14.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists and 1 steal. But she's also averaging 6.5 turnovers and only shooting 30.4% from the floor. 30.4% from the floor and 27.8% from downtown. 30.4% from the floor and 27.8% from downtown. Those are some shooting numbers you saw back in the 40s, ain't it? Joe Folks and Max Zaslowski, that's that era, right? But I remember when Angel Reese had that pretty bad game against the Iowa Buckeyes when she was at LSU a couple months ago, whatever it was. She shot 7 for 21, even though she still had 20 rebounds. And social media went on an absolute blitzkrieg on her. Absolute blitzkrieg. Calling how she's overrated and she ain't nothing and all this, that, and the third. The girl cried and people told her to man up even though she's a woman. But with her, we got to be patient and not say anything about it. It is what it is. Oh, by the way, shout out to Fitness Sports and Rants. I saw his video about why he could never rank LeBron James over Larry Bird. And I understand completely. I wrestle with it myself. I just have a difference of opinion where I do believe Larry Bird is a better basketball player, but I think LeBron's longevity, in addition to him having 1 more league MVP and 1 more championship, and more finals MVPs, it's enough to push him just ahead of Larry Bird, in my opinion, right? But I saw some people in the comments section who happen to be some of my subscribers who accuse me of racial bias when it comes to LeBron Ramon James, right? Which is interesting because I'm one of the biggest critics, if not the biggest critic of LeBron James, pound for pound on YouTube. But somehow I'm pushing LeBron ahead of Larry Bird because of racial bias. So, okay, where's this racial bias when I have John Havlicek ahead of Kevin Durant? People say I'm crazy for doing it. Where's this racial bias when I have Jerry West as the third greatest shooting guard of all time? People tell me I need to have Iverson. I need to have Dwayne Wade ahead of him. Where's this racial bias when I tell you that Bob Pettit is arguably a top 20 all-time player? Where's this racial bias when I implore people to look at the greatness that was Bob Cousy and why he should always be a top 10, if not a top 8 all-time point guard? Where's this racial bias when I'm considering pushing Rick Barry up to my top 5 all-time in small forwards? Where's this racial bias when, of all things, of a Bulls fan, I'm telling you how good, at least from an offensive standpoint, a Bill Laimbeer might be today. He couldn't do the things he did defensively today. But then again, maybe he could if Draymond Green's doing it and they allow him to do it, right? But I also talk about the greatness of centers who not in the Hall of Fame, like Johnny Red Kerr. You know what I'm saying? Where's my bias then? Where's that so-called racial bias then? But anyway, just had to put that in there. Tell me what you guys think.